Las Vegas, 1978. Muhammad Ali had just lost another fight. As he walked back to the locker room, one voice cut through the arena noise louder than the rest. "You're done, Ali. Quit while you still can." The man screaming was David Patterson, ringside seat, face red with rage, veins bulging. Security moved to remove him. Ali stopped them. "Let him stay. I want to talk to him after." What Ali discovered about why this man was so angry would lead to a 20-year friendship nobody saw coming, and what that angry heckler did for Ali 2 decades later would save the champion's life. Nobody knew why David Patterson was so angry. Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas. September 1978. Muhammad Ali vs. Leon Spinks. Rematch. Ali was 36, past his prime, but refusing to quit. The fight was brutal, 15 rounds. Ali won on points, barely. His face swollen, movement slow. The Parkinson's not yet diagnosed, but already stealing him away. As Ali walked the aisle back to the locker room, exhausted, hurting, the crowd roared. Fans reaching to touch him, cameras flashing. Then one voice, louder than the rest. "You're washed up, Ali." Ali looked toward the sound. A white man, mid-30s, expensive suit, ringside seat, face twisted with rage. "Quit while you can still walk. You're embarrassing yourself." Security guards moved toward him. The man didn't care, kept screaming. "You used to be great, now you're just sad. Stop." Ali held up his hand. Security stopped. The man, David Patterson, was standing now, pointing at Ali. "You hear me? You're done. Finished." Other fans around David looked uncomfortable. Some told him to shut up. But David kept going, louder. "My son worshipped you. You're letting him down." That last line was different. Something in his voice broke. Ali stared at David for a long moment, then did something nobody expected. "What's your name?" David, shocked into silence. "What? Your name? What is it?" "David. David Patterson." "David, wait for me outside the locker room. I want to talk to you." "I don't want to talk to. Please, wait for me." Then Ali walked on, leaving David stunned. David almost left, but something made him stay. 45 minutes later, David Patterson was still standing in the hallway outside Ali's locker room. Everyone had left. Fighters, trainers, press. Just David, alone, wondering why he was waiting. He should leave, go back to his hotel, fly home to Boston tomorrow, forget tonight. But Ali had looked at him, really looked at him, not with anger, with something else. The locker room door opened. Ali emerged, dressed, still moving slow from the fight. "You waited. Yeah, come on, let's walk." They walked through the empty arena, Ali's bodyguard keeping distance, but watching. Finally, Ali said, "Why you so angry, David?" "I'm not. You paid good money for that ringside seat. Screamed at me the whole fight. That's anger, so I'm asking why." David was quiet. "Then you wouldn't understand. Try me." They sat in the empty stands, the ring below, being dismantled by workers. David's voice was tight. "My son, Michael. He's 12. Was 12. Was." Ali waited. "Leukemia. Died 4 months ago. I'm sorry. He loved you. Had posters of you everywhere. Used to shadow box in the living room, pretending to be you. Float like a butterfly. Sting like a bee. That was his favorite thing to say." David's voice cracked. "When he got sick, we watched your old fights together. Hospital room. Every day. Gave him something to focus on besides the pain." Ali listened, silent. He kept saying, "Dad, Ali never quits, so I won't quit either." And I'd say, "That's right, Michael. Champions don't quit." David wiped his eyes. "But he did quit, or his body did. And I've been so angry, at God, at doctors, at myself for not being able to save him. And at me," Ali said quietly. "Yeah, at you, because you taught him not to quit. But it didn't matter. He died anyway. And tonight, watching you up there, slow, getting hit, barely winning, I couldn't watch you quit too. Couldn't watch another hero fall." They sat in silence. Finally Ali spoke. David, your son didn't quit. His body gave out. That's not the same thing. He fought every day. That's what champions do. He's still gone. Yes, but he fought. You said he watched my old fights in that hospital room, every day. Then he spent his last months watching a champion, learning courage. That's not nothing, David. That's everything. David broke down, fully, completely, sat in those empty arena seats, and sobbed. Ali didn't say anything else, just sat there, hand on David's shoulder, until the crying stopped. When David finally looked up, Ali said something that changed everything. David, you doing anything right now? David wiped his face. What? Right now? Tonight? You busy? No. I'm supposed to fly home tomorrow morning. Cancel it. Come with me. Where? Nowhere special. Just come on. They ended up at a 24-hour diner, off the strip. 2 a.m. Nearly empty. Just Ali, David, and the bodyguard at a corner table. Ali ordered pie. David ordered coffee. He didn't drink. They talked for 3 hours, not about boxing, about loss, about sons, about what it means to keep going when everything says stop. Ali told David about his own struggles, the Parkinson's starting, the slurred speech, the trembling hands, the fear of losing himself. Every day, I wake up a little less than I was, Ali said. But I still wake up. That's the fight now. How do you keep going? Same way your son did. One day at a time, one punch at a time. You don't quit because it's hard. You keep going, because that's what champions do. I'm not a champion. You're a father who loved his son enough to scream at me for not being perfect. That's a different kind of champion. David almost smiled. First time in months. I'm sorry for screaming at you. Don't be. You needed to. And I needed to hear why. They exchanged phone numbers. Ali wrote his on a napkin. Call me if you need to talk. Anytime. David looked at the napkin. Muhammad Ali's personal number. Why would you do this? I was horrible to you. Because you're in pain. And I've been in pain. And sometimes, that's enough reason to help. They parted outside the diner. Dawn. Coming up over Vegas. David, one more thing.
Dear.
Don't quit. On life. On yourself. Your son wouldn't want that. David nodded. Throat tight. Champions don't quit, Ali said, echoing Michael's words. David drove back to Boston the next day, but he kept that napkin. For 20 years they stayed in touch. David Patterson didn't call right away. Took him 6 months. But in March 1979, at 2 a.m., grieving and desperate, he dialed the number on the napkin. Ali answered. Hello, champ. It's David. David Patterson. From Vegas. I'm sorry. I know it's late. David, talk to me. What's wrong? They talked for an hour. About Michael. About grief. About the crushing weight of moving forward. Ali didn't give platitudes. Just listened. Shared his own struggles. Made David feel less alone. After that they talked every few months. David would call. Sometimes Ali would call him. Not long conversations. 10, 15 minutes. Check-ins. Updates. Two men who'd found unexpected connection in an empty arena. 1981. David called to say he'd started a foundation in Michael's name, supporting families of kids with leukemia. Ali, that's how you honor him, by helping others. 1984. Ali called David. Speech more slurred. Parkinson's progressing. David, you okay, champ?
Ali.
Still fighting. 1989. David's remarriage. Ali sent flowers. Card. Champions deserve happiness. Congratulations. 1996. Ali lit the Olympic torch in Atlanta, hands trembling for the world to see. David called afterward. That was the bravest thing I've ever seen. Ali barely able to speak. Had to. Show them. Show them what? Still fighting. The calls became less frequent as Ali's condition worsened, but they never stopped completely. David would call Ali's assistant, leave messages, just checking on the champ. Let him know David called. And Ali would somehow always get word back. Tell David, I'm still here. Then in 1998, David got a call that changed everything. October 1998. David Patterson's phone rang at 6 a.m. David, this is Patricia, Mr. Ali's assistant. David sat up. Is he okay? There's been an incident. Muhammad fell, hit his head. He's conscious but confused. We're at Cedars Sinai in LA. He's asking for you, for me. He keeps saying, call David. Boston David, can you come? David was on a plane 3 hours later. At the hospital, Ali was in a private room, bandage on his head. The Parkinson's made him shake constantly now, speech almost gone. But when David walked in, Ali's eyes lit up. David, hey champ, heard you took a tumble. Ali tried to smile. Stupid, Parkinson's. The doctors said Ali had fallen, hit his head on a table. Mild concussion. But concerning given his condition and medications, we need to monitor for bleeding, the doctor explained. Next 48 hours are critical. David looked at Patricia. Where's his family? Lonnie's flying in from Louisville. Should be here in 4 hours. Someone should stay with him. We have nurses. I'll stay. So David stayed, pulled a chair next to Ali's bed, held vigil. Ali drifted in and out. When awake, mostly couldn't speak, but kept looking at David, making sure he was there. That first night, around 2 a.m., Ali had a seizure. Alarms, nurses rushing in. David pushed aside. They stabilized him. Brain bleed, small, but dangerous. Emergency surgery scheduled. As they prepped Ali, he grabbed David's hand. Weak grip, trembling. Champ, you're going to be fine. Ali shook his head. Not about that. He tried to speak. Couldn't. Frustrated tears. David leaned close. What is it? Ali managed 2 words. Thank you. For what? Ali squeezed his hand, eyes saying what words couldn't. For 20 years. For understanding. For staying. They wheeled him away. The surgery took 6 hours. David waited. Lonnie arrived, hugged him. Thank you for being here. Of course. He talks about you. Says you saved him once. I screamed at him at a fight, 20 years ago. He saved me. No, he told me. After that night in Vegas, he was thinking about retiring, quitting boxing. But talking to you, hearing about your son, reminded him why he fought. To be an example, to show people not to quit. David had never known that. He said if a father's love could drive a man to scream at a stranger, imagine what that same love could build. That's when he started focusing more on his foundation work. Kids, families, people in pain. David's eyes filled. I didn't know. He never told you because he knew you'd feel guilty. But David, you changed his life as much as he changed yours. The surgeon emerged. Surgery went well. We stopped the bleeding. He's stable. Ali spent 3 days in ICU. David never left. When Ali woke up fully, first thing he saw was David asleep in the chair next to his bed. Ali managed to press the call button. When the nurse came, get David coffee. The nurse smiled. Ali, he hasn't left your side in 3 days. Ali looked at David, still asleep, wrinkled suit, unshaven, exhausted. The man who'd once screamed at him with rage, now watching over him with love. When David woke, Ali was crying, silent tears. Champ, you okay? Should I get the doctor? Ali shook his head, reached for David's hand. This time his grip was stronger. No words. Didn't need them. When Ali was finally released, he did something unexpected. 2 weeks later, Ali was strong enough to travel back to Louisville. He insisted David come visit before flying back to Boston. At Ali's home, sitting in the living room, Ali handed David an envelope. What's this? Ali gestured. Open it. Inside, a letter, handwritten by someone else but signed by Ali's shaky hand. Dear David, 20 years ago, you screamed at me in Las Vegas. You were angry at God, at death, at me, for not being perfect. You called me washed up, told me to quit. I could have been angry, could have had you removed, could have forgotten you. But I saw something in your eyes that night. Pain. Real, deep pain. And I knew that anger was just pain, wearing a mask. That night we talked, changed me. You reminded me why I fight. Not to win. To show people how to keep going, when everything says stop. Your son Michael knew that. He fought until he couldn't anymore. That's all any of us can do. You've carried guilt for screaming at me. Let it go. That night was the beginning of one of the most important friendships of my life. You stayed with me for 3 days, when I was hurt. You held vigil. You were there when I was scared. That's not a debt you owed. That's love. So I'm writing to say, thank you, for screaming at me, for staying, for being my friend, when I needed one. Champions recognize other champions. And David, you're a champion. Your friend, Muhammad Ali. David read it 3 times, tears streaming. Champ, I don't deserve. Ali shook his head, pointed at David, then at himself, then clasped his hands together. Friends, equal, forever. When Muhammad Ali died in June 2016, David Patterson was one of the honorary pallbearers. At the funeral, someone asked him, how did you know Ali? I screamed at him once. He listened, and that changed both our lives. Today the Michael Patterson Foundation has helped over 5,000 families dealing with childhood leukemia. On their website, a quote from Muhammad Ali, champions don't quit. They fight until they can't anymore. Then they inspire others to keep fighting. David Patterson is 73 now. He tells the story of that night in Vegas to anyone who'll listen. I was so angry at the world, at God, at Ali for not being perfect. And instead of fighting back, he asked me why. He listened, and in listening, he saved me. The lesson isn't complicated. Sometimes, the angriest people are the ones in the most pain. And sometimes, all they need is someone to ask, why are you so angry? Ali could have had David thrown out, could have ignored him, could have written him off as just another heckler. Instead, he saw past the anger to the pain. And in doing so, he didn't just gain a friend, he saved a life. Muhammad Ali once said, the man who views the world at 50 the same as he did at 20, has wasted 30 years of his life. David Patterson viewed Muhammad Ali as a washed-up fighter who needed to quit. Ali saw a father in pain who needed to be heard. 20 years later, when Ali needed someone, David was there. Not because he owed a debt, because that's what friends do. Sometimes, the people who seem the angriest are really the ones hurting the most. Sometimes, all they need is someone brave enough to ask why. Ali had that courage to turn anger into conversation, rage into friendship, a heckler into family. If this story moved you, think about the angry people in your life. The ones screaming, lashing out, pushing away. Maybe they're not angry. Maybe they're in pain. And maybe all they need is someone to ask, why? Subscribe for more untold Muhammad Ali stories. The fights that happened outside the ring. Comment, have you ever misjudged someone who was actually hurting? Remember, champions don't just fight in the ring. They fight for people nobody else sees.